The promotion and regulation of online gaming in India, which has also included gambling, that is playing for money, games of luck, games of chance, skill-based games, which were earlier categorized separately. It's encompassing all of that within its regulatory frame. A landmark moment wherein this entire developing scenario of the gaming and gambling industry, which was highly and unregulated in our country, has taken a very concrete shape. A few essential aspects to understand here. Why exactly this law is important and necessary. Honestly, as a cyber lawyer in my practice, I have personally seen individuals losing crores of rupees, their entire lifetime of income, on online gambling platforms, many of those which are perpetually rigged. So the chances of this individual winning is really not there. There are initial wins which are given to encourage them to play further, just to lure. But people losing an entire lifetime of income is a lot. I have seen people suffering, mentally suffering, health-wise, in a lot of situations after losing money to online gambling platforms. Many times there are a lot of gaming platforms also camouflaged. And it appears to be a game, but you're going about playing money. There is no direct betting, but a lot of fantasy games wherein people are putting more and more money. So in a very nice masked way, gambling and fantasy gaming has in a way put money into the picture, where when an individual lured gets addicted to it, ends up losing a lot of money also, especially if these games are managed by bots. So this is something I have seen. And the second worst part of it, which I have seen, is wherein even the amounts, small amounts that these individuals win while playing these games are basically through hawala transactions. So from third party accounts, when they receive this money and their account is utilized maybe in hawala transactions or for receiving the so-called prize money, eventually these funds are crime proceeds which are obtained by illegal access, unauthorized access to somebody else's bank account, online theft, something or the other of that nature, credit card frauds, so many frauds that occur in the digital space, and that is the origin of that money. And that money, when received by a player in his account, leads to the entire police trail when a complaint is made by the victim, leading back to this individual who is considered as the accused. So a player of a game, innocent player of a game, becomes an accused in a matter. If he's in layer 1, layer 2, then yes, his account is frozen and he cannot withdraw funds. A debit freeze is there. He has to justify, go through the entire process. And if he falls under layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, normally even a lien is placed in that. So a freeze may not be there, but a lien of the entire amount that he has received, which unfortunately till the investigation doesn't get over, and in many cases once the victim gets a return of property order, the entire money would be repatriated via court order from innocent player's bank account to the victim's bank account. So basically the criminal makes the money in the middle, and the innocent online game player pays the victim back, and the cyber criminal has gone ahead and made a good sum of money in the middle. So it's like a routing of funds indirectly, where he's made the money and a player has to end up paying the victim. So in a way, in my opinion, this is a very, very good move that has been made by the government. With respect to the provisions of this regulation, the most important thing to understand is the definition of esports, which has been very clearly put into the regulation of 2025 of this space, which talks about any gaming or sporting activity which is taking place online, but not for money. Now, it may involve a subscription model where there is a certain fee for subscription which is charged, but not playing with money, wagering, betting, winning money. These options are not there. The next important point is online money games meaning. The meaning of online money games are primarily any form of game which is played digitally, which involves a player paying some money with the hope of winning some money. So whether it may be a question of a game of luck or a game of skill, that bifurcation which earlier was there is completely removed. If there is money involved, then it is an online money game. The third, online money game services. Now, this third terminology is also very important to understand, that this basically talks about different gaming platform aggregators. So any platform which is providing multiple games on their platform, there are, like for example, you have a Netflix or a Hotstar for web series, you have even gaming platforms for multiple gaming companies to put up their games on that. So even the online money gaming service, which is providing this kind of a service of, you could say, putting together or integrating multiple platforms in its portal, is also liable in the case there is any online money game which is being hosted on their platform. The most important part now. So over the years, I myself have advised a large number of gaming companies in India, abroad also, wherein normally the whole methodology, because in India the laws on this space were grey, companies for especially online gambling are routinely incorporated abroad and offer services into our country, which means the games are hosted in our country, the company is incorporated outside, and because our country does not allow online gambling, so from that perspective, the company abroad is offering its platforms, whether it may be apps, whether it may be via web links, whether it may be a website, different methodologies in which it is being offered their services in Indian cyberspace for Indians to be able to access. So what this regulation of online gaming of 2025 does is it goes ahead and gives an extraterritorial jurisdiction to the Indian law enforcement, which means no company in India can indulge in online money gaming. No company which may be incorporated abroad can go ahead and offer these services into India of online money gaming. So basically that loophole where you could form a company in a foreign country where it is legal and offer services into India is completely cut off. Let's come to the next important aspect to understand, that there is no way around online money games. Betting, wagering, games played by taking money from a player with the hope of winning something, whether or not there is skill, whether or not there is fantasy, whether or not there is some imaginary concept to it, all of that is illegal under the current regulation. So that's a very, very simple prohibition that has been placed. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen multiple advertisements of influencers, celebrities who have promoted these kind of games openly. I've seen it at bus stops, I have seen it even on television now. So the regulation goes ahead and places a serious ban on any influencer, celebrity, any individual or any organization also advertising anything for online money games and online money gaming service. It goes one step further and says no indirect advertisement can be made. For example, you cannot, not make the advertisement, or you have an influencer or Bollywood celebrity talking about some XYZ activity which indirectly is linking to an online game and advertising. You can't do that. So like you cannot advertise liquor, so you advertise water. That kind of advertisement of water is also not allowed in online gaming and gambling in the 2025 regulation. So it's a very clear thing that even indirect advertising is not allowed. The next important landmark that happens here is the formation of a central body, that is the Gaming Authority. The Gaming Authority has the power to go ahead and register with them the different gaming companies in India. It has the power to basically listen to complaints by individuals or suo motu. On its own, it can take cognizance of complaints of any organization or individual running online money games. Here, the penalty is up to 1 crore, imprisonment up to 3 years, and both is there. Non-compliance of the prohibitions that are there, that is, for example, of the advertising, facilitating of advertising and influencers, celebrities, all of them indirectly advertising for an online money game or an online money game service. Then over here there is imprisonment for 2 to 3 or 2 years, and in case of facilitating of payments, so wherein let's say there is any payment aggregator company or any other payment platform which is allowing the payment flow from these online money gaming companies and online money gaming service providers, then in that situation imprisonment up to 3 years for them and a fine of up to 1 crore rupees for them, and in case of influencers, celebrities, additionally a fine up to 50 lakh rupees. The next important thing is, in the case the gaming authority decides that a particular game should not be aired, it has a power also to go ahead and completely restrict, ban, block the presence of that game within Indian cyberspace. So mandatory blocking of content, blocking of services is a power which is existing with the gaming authority. Now, there have been a large number of companies which are incorporated in certain states of our country, wherein online gambling upon registration has been allowed up to date. Now, the new regulation very clearly changes this area where it says this has an overriding effect on any state law. So let's say there are certain states, I will not name the states, but in India there are about 5 to 6 states wherein you can get an online gambling license as an organization and you can legitimately run a platform. And this particular regulation, the 2025 Central Act which is proposed, goes ahead and has an overriding effect on all those state regulations, which means the licenses that organizations have obtained under the different state bodies for online gambling and online gaming with money and skill-based gaming definitely would stand cancelled. With this, the key takeaway is that I would say for the online gaming and gambling industry is you need to brace yourself for the changes. No industry really shuts down, but it is very, very important that it has to become compliant with the laws of the land. So offering games, offering services which are compliant with the laws of the land are very important. For financial services and financial organizations, please be very, very cautious about what kind of businesses you are providing your services to. The nature of games, is there any money involved? A thorough assessment opinion taken is very important before you provide your gateway services, payment gateway services. Same way with respect to advertisers, be careful what are you advertising. There should be no indirect advertising. Even the same for celebrities, influencers. Be very cautious that your name is not associated with any online online money gaming platform, and to ensure that even indirectly it is not. Because all of this together would end up in a huge liability for an individual and an organization. And lastly, for individuals, I think this is a very, very landmark development, which is important because it is in the benefit of a common man. You know, addiction, people say don't gamble online, don't put money, don't do these things. But believe me, once the addictive cycle starts, it is very, very difficult. So I think a ban is something which would help break that cycle, enable people's livelihoods to remain with them, enable them to be able to save it for their older ages, for their family's benefit. I think this is an amazing move. And we as a society, we as a nation, and we as organizations need to brace and grow our businesses in accordance with the same. Thank you.